Jurgen, to coin a cliche, it was a bit of a game of two halves, wasn't it? Outstanding at times in the first and then kind of fell away in the second. What are your thoughts?
Unfortunately, you are right. So, yeah, first half we had incredible moments, absolutely incredible moments. We played some of the best stuff we played. Sadio Mane's second goal is for me what was my goal of my whole 6 years here, and pretty much we worked 6 years for it, that we could score a goal like this. Unfortunately, it was disallowed. Then they have their moment. They had moments, but we defended them okay. But then they had their moment when they scored a goal. So being 3-0 up, no, 2-0 up, 2-1 is not a nice moment. And today we dealt not really well with that, to be honest. We dealt not really well, because second half, the best way to defend Brighton is obviously to have the ball and to do some clever stuff with it. And we didn't do that in the second half anymore, apart from the goal we scored there, which was disallowed as well. So, yeah, 2-2 feels like a defeat. I know it's not, but feels like, and we have to do better. We know that. It's not just a saying. We have to do better in these moments. Body language didn't like second half, so there's a lot of potential for improvement.
And frustrating as well to see Naby heading down the tunnel once again. I know obviously it would be early stages, but in terms of him, how's he been assessed so far?
I don't know. He told me, or showed me hamstring. So I don't know. So we will see. Obviously tomorrow, day after tomorrow, whatever, we will have a scan and then we will know. But yeah, if somebody feeds the hamstring, it would be the first time that he's ready for the next game. So I can see that.
As you say, it feels like a defeat right now, but once the dust settles, we look ahead to Madrid midweek, and no better game, I suppose, for you to lift yourselves for.
Another tough game, and against an opponent who is not made for playing friendly games. So it will be a hard one as well. We have to recover now. So this is. It's not the end of the world or a catastrophe, but I think I like it, and it feels really bad. But tomorrow is another day. We will get up, and then we'll try to sort the potential issues for the next game. And this time, at least, they didn't have a weekend off before their players, which is at least I think they don't have a weekend off. I can't see that. Did they play the weekend? Probably yes, they did. I start tomorrow. We're obviously analyzing Atletico again. So yeah, tough one, but we have to find solutions, and we will.
Oh, thanks for speaking to us. Thank you.
Well, we haven't stood here on too many occasions talking about points being dropped at Anfield, certainly whilst the crowd have been back or inside of this famous ground, but we are talking about it, and I'm sure you don't need me to tell you that it almost feels like a defeat after the start that Liverpool have had. But we will get into it with Phil Thompson and with Jason McAteer, and also get some reaction for you pitch side from the manager and players as well. But let's start with you, Tomo. How would you assess the second half in comparison to how well Liverpool started?
Pretty underwhelming. I thought it was too slow. Not enough movement off the ball, sort of diagonals which we get to turn the opposition weren't happening. Sort of Mo running inside, Sadio running inside. Everybody was too passive. And we've seen that with the boys before. We've always been able to get out of it. During the second half, and as it was going, you got more nervous that we were actually going to lose it, rather than. But so it's a point. It's not what we all wanted, but you looked at it, and I just don't think there was enough positivity about the boys in the second half. I just think going 2-0 up, I think we felt too comfortable. Well, this is the way the game is, and if anything, we got sloppy.
Yeah, predictable. Probably could be another word aimed at the performance. Certainly second half. But there is a cause for concern. You think in Milan. I mean, Tomo mentioned it there, come a little bit too easy. Milan, we go 2-0 up and cruising. Like the best half an hour I've seen us play for a long, long time. All of a sudden it gets a little bit too easy. The game management goes and they let them back in it, and then it's like backs against the wall, innit? And, again, you look at Atletico Madrid, we go 2-0 up. shades of that again. They come back, and then all of a sudden we're all over the place. And we managed to get a winner, don't we, as we did with Milan. But today we just couldn't find any answers, and it's concerning to go 2 up and the game management to be so poor. And it did. First half, first 20 minutes, I looked at the game and I thought we were toying with them at times. I thought this is a little bit too easy. We started well, we got the goals, and then like Tomo said, it was too easy, and we let them back in it, and their tails were up, and fair play to them. They took and probably deserve a point here.
Did they take something from Liverpool in terms of the way they adapted to the game? And like Jason says, that there was a point really at 2-0 you thought this is going to be 3, 4, 5 perhaps.
Was it the Sadio Mane goal? That wasn't, like, we could all see it hit his hand, and that's why I couldn't believe that so many everybody was lining up and you could see it hit his hand. This is really going to be disallowed. But was it that moment that they thought, because at 3-0 I think that would have killed them off, but that gave them a sort of, wow, we got away with that. And I think fair play to them, because they didn't lose hope, they didn't lose the shape, they got better, they felt more confidence, and they started passing it round probably better than us, and had more movement up front and in that final third. So it was difficult all round. I just think it was too slow. We went back to sort of just passing it square. We had the guys in front, the 3 in midfield, and we never got anybody even running forward beyond the front lads. So it was disappointing in that. As I say, at times you've got to make sure that you do not get beat when you get games like that.
I think at this level as well, I mean, it's seconds can define with the movement or the way something happens. Like Tomo said, it being too slow, I think he's right. When we start a game at 0-0 and there's an incentive to go and win the game, we start quick. You get into position, your touches on, the second man's running, all that's happening, and there's always options, and then you get the goal. Then you get the second goal doing all that good stuff. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, I'll amble into that position, and then that couple of seconds there where you're not in position, you turn and look, he's not quite in position to receive the ball, so then you choose something else, and it kind of all changes, doesn't it? It slows down.
You looked at that high energy start that we had. How many times did they try and pass it? And we were all over them, swarming, closing. I didn't see any of that in the second half. And once they get a little bit, all those bounce balls that we were getting, it was falling to us, is falling for them, because they're more positive than what we are. And it just went like that. Yeah, we're building up. There was a lot of positives in that first 20 minutes. And I think that's the way. Probably Jurgen will say exactly the same thing, but we just seem to lose that. Because we've been on such a good run, we've thought, we've got 2. There's going to be more chances coming along in a minute. We just lost that edge to the game.
He did speak, didn't he, prior to the game? They missed nothing as a set of coaches, but we need to defend better, even after the 5-0 win against United. He was almost alluding to the fact we are going to have a day where we find goals hard to come by, so we've got to defend better. How did they defend today as a team?
Not great at times, and you're right. We mentioned it in the build-up show. Manchester United, for all the glory in the 5-0, defensively there were holes we could pick, and other games as well, Atletico Madrid as well, and like I said, you go 2-0 up and concede 2 goals. It's not great. You get away with it. It's 3-2. We win. It kind of papers over the cracks a little bit. Today we never got ourselves out of trouble, but we shouldn't at 2-0 be in any trouble. We should see the game out, and that's all about game management.
We're not keeping a straight line for the second goal, and the ball gets and the central defenders are looking around, not sure whether it was Robbo who was playing them on, and just things like that. Is that we're unsure of each other, and I think somebody can run across here, and I think he actually does that and tries to put his leg behind him. There's no stopping zone, because you can see Trossard, as we pointed out, what a good player that he is, good control. And you just get caught out with it. So there's things to improve on. There always is, no matter even in a 5-0 game. And that's maybe a learning lesson, because we've got a good big game in midweek.
A big incident in the opening half of the game, wasn't there, in the sense that Naby Keita goes down injured. We thought he was okay the other night. I don't know if it's a separate injury. It seemed to almost point to his hamstring, indicating perhaps it was a muscle problem. But that kind of harmed the kind of, the tide that Liverpool were on a little bit. And midfield is now going to be a big concern, isn't it?
Yeah, we're being pushed, aren't we, for selection? There's a few of them out now, isn't there? So he's going to have to come up with something, and the games are coming thick and fast. So it'd be nice to get the likes of Thiago back in. I know he's trained, hasn't he, only for a couple of days, so nice to get him back into the fray, and maybe he'll get some game time. But yeah, we don't know what it is. I mean, he did look like he was pointing to his thigh. Whether it's a knock-on from the injury that he picked up against Manchester United, we'll have to wait and see. But it's another one on the treatment table you could do without.
Yeah, hopefully Fabinho's not too. I thought we missed him because Jason being in the centre, setting patterns in the game, closing people down, edging people on. When he's playing in that central role, he doesn't get about people as much. Fabinho allows Jordan to sort of go and press and close and make sure that he's keeping everybody together. That seemed as though it drifted away from us today. That is becoming an area, as it was central defence last year. The midfield, we're running out of players. They've all got to be ready for it. Hopefully Fabinho is not too bad. Hopefully they were saving him. Let's say the big game in midweek. And because you don't have too many players to come in, the ones who are in possession get a little bit comfortable and they're not doing enough. Because I thought today we got too many balls and took too many easy ways out, getting it playing square instead of playing it forward, even just between the lines and then trying to get it. And that just waned from our game.
Yeah, it's a great point Tomo's made there about Fabinho. I mean, he's so integral to the way we play. It just gives that extra little bit of cover for the centre halves. You know, you can play higher. He wins the ball. He doesn't want it. Jordan wants to get on it and play, and he wants to, you know, a little bit Hollywood now and again. He wants to dictate. Fabinho's not interested in that. He gets it, wins it, and gives it to the players ahead of him to then go and do what they need to do higher up the pitch. He just wants to be there as the cover, and it's a massive part of the way we play. And I do think we missed him. You think, you know, he comes on against Atletico, all of a sudden we go and get the winner, and we look a better balanced team when he comes on. Again, every time he plays, we just look a better defensive unit. So he has been a miss.
Nothing against anybody who plays that holding midfield.
But they're not as good as him.
But Fabinho, as you've seen it, and the Atletico, it was that in the second half. He has these big, long telescopic legs, which nicks the ball off. People think they're getting, a number of times they got away from us in that midfield area. He's always got that big leg, long leg, and it just nicks it off people. He set patterns in that game, in that second half. And I just think today, when we needed that, and we have good players in there, but they don't do the same role because he loves a slide tackle. Whereas we don't see Jordan many times going to ground. We don't see Naby going to ground. We don't see Ox going to ground, and certainly Curtis. So he is a little bit different from the other players.
Indications are that it's not an injury that is serious or one that they think will keep him out for too much longer, but we will wait and see on that and maybe get an update from Jurgen Klopp on that midfield situation as well when we hear from him a little bit later. Let's get across to Becky Davis, who's going to be speaking now to Andrew Robertson.
Afternoon for you today. I imagine a lot of frustration in the dressing room. What are your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, exactly that. Frustration. Couldn't have asked for a better start. Started playing really, really good football. Scored 2 great goals. Could have had a third with Sadio. You know, really unlucky, but that's the rules. And then, you know, I just think we let Brighton do what they were good at. You know, what we've trying to be working all week on stopping them doing. We started letting, you know, ads on the ball. We let, you know, Basuma on the ball. We let, you know, them start making runs in behind, and we didn't do that the first half an hour. And then they start getting a wee bit confident. They scored the first goal. You know, I don't know if it was a cross or a shot. It's one of the ones, but it goes in the back of the net, and you go in at half time and they're kind of full of confidence, and it was important that we tried to forget about what happened in the last 10 minutes and tried to put it right, and we didn't do that. I think Brighton were the better team in the second half. They obviously got the goal that made them equalise, and you know, they could add another one. So really disappointing. You know, when you come to when we are playing at Anfield and we're 2-0 up, we expect us to come away with the 3 points, and we've not done that today, and that's why it's so frustrating.
Yeah, especially frustrating because this is a team you are full of confidence at the moment, and that did show in that first half. But as you say, then just seemed to fall away after the break.
Yeah, which can't happen. You know, when you're 2-0 up in a game, you know, I think over the years, so many people said it's the most dangerous scoreline in football because the next goal is so crucial. And when you don't get it, you then have an opposition that believe that they can get back on level terms, and that's unfortunately what happened here today. But you know, we've got to be better than that. We've got to be we've got to get our foot on the ball again. We've got to play. I think too many slack passes started going, and they were picking up second balls, and then they were hitting us on the counter attack, which we also have to stop. So look, there's a lot of things we can look at. You know, good stuff in the first half and maybe not so good stuff in the second half. But you know, when you're 2-0 up in this league and it's so competitive and every point's a prisoner, then you know you have to hold on, I think.
Yeah, and obviously now I imagine it feels more like a defeat than a draw, but you've got Madrid midweek and no better game to have to pick yourselves up for.
Yeah, look, the dressing room just now feels like a defeat. Of course it does. Like being 2-0 up and giving away a lead, it's never nice, and you know. But like you said, we've got another game so quickly around the corner. We know what's at stake. We know if we win, we secure a place in the last 16, which is incredible with the group we've got, and you know, through the minimum games we could have. So that has to be the aim. That has to be the aim. But we have to play a lot better than we did today. We have to play with, you know, we need to be a lot more consistent in what we do. And you know, if we do that, then I believe we can get a result. And hopefully, it's another special night at Anfield with the fans right behind us.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Once he gets his game even more defined, end product, more examples like that. Don't get the ball at your feet and hit the target.